Hey everyone, Christian here, and I wanted to do a little comparison of two clumping dipsis that are often talked about and are collector's palms that grow really well here in Florida. Well, pretty well, depending on where you put them. So this one first being Dipsis lanceolata, the Ivovowo palm, which not sure where that name came from, and Dipsis pembana, the Pemba palm. Now, neither one of these actually are from Madagascar. They're a few of the only species that grow outside of Madagascar. Lanceolata is native only to the Comoros Islands, a little island nation a little bit off the coast of Madagascar. And Dipsis pembana is from Pemba Island off the coast of Tanzania. So you can see both of these have green, bamboo-ish looking trunks. In fact, a lanceolata holds it quite a bit, and that's probably why it's so desirable amongst collectors. And pembana will also have this green trunk, but you can see how robust it is. See how much larger it is? So they both have the bamboo trunks. Lanceolata is going to be a little bit thinner, although in a lot of pictures I've seen this a lot thicker. They don't seem to do as well here in Florida, even some shade. I've seen these growing in sun about the same, and they kind of look the same. This one will have a little bit less red on here, although there is a lot more blackish with red right near the newest growth points, where pembana will have red even at the older parts here, there, and obviously further up the trunk there. And but I think the most obvious difference is not only just the size of the trunk, but the shape of the leaflet. So they both have pinnate leaves. Lanceolata having these cupped leaflets that recurve. You can see right there, I can kind of just hold on to them. And they're similar. If I were to pull this out, they would look kind of similar, but you can see pembana has quite the flat tropical leaf look, which is quite nice. And makes me think that I think that pembana is a better landscape palm in Florida than cabata is, and I believe a lot of people feel the same way. Although cabata is more popular, it's kind of introduced. It's a little bit tougher to the elements as far as like dealing with like Florida's harsh, hot springs and falls that don't have much rain. But as long as you can irrigate them, pembana is great. So I would say lanceolata is a tad bit more cold sensitive. Being from the Comoros, which is north of Madagascar, is from a pretty tropical area. Not that pembana isn't, but I've seen pembana grow well in California where lanceolata doesn't look nearly as well, and it grows much faster. And I think that's great for dipsis, because dipsis in general tend not to grow that fast. Not that they're really slow growers, but just teddy bears, triangles, cabata are, they're kind of just like medium growers, where pembana will really be robust. And you can see it's even trying to put up a few more trunks here. So, but it's obviously doing much better than the lanceolata. You can just tell crown to crown. This crown looks a little bit, it's just stunted, and for lack of just not enjoying our climate. It isn't cold damage. It just doesn't really like growing to its potential here in Florida, where here these actually look fatter than they do in a lot of habitat pictures. And these are properly mulched and irrigated and fertilized as well. And you can see this is more of a, I've seen lanceolatas as tall as this pembana, and they look pretty good, but pembana is just a lot easier to grow in Florida. So if you want something that's going to be more of a hedge, I recommend getting pembana, because of the thickness of the trunk, the hedging aspect, and the growth rate. If you're more of a collector and just want to have another cool looking palm, the cooler factor, I would go for lanceolata. Of course, as a collector, really you can just go for both and just not have to make the choice. But if you only have one space to plant one, I would go for pembana in a humid subtropical climate. I think it's probably the best choice as far as the clumping dipsis, whether it's lutescens or the eureka palm, cabata, pembana, lanceolata, or any of the other smaller clumping ones. So here's actually another one, a little bit easier to. I'm going to get a little closer to this pembana here so we can kind of get a little bit of a close up here. But you can see how nice and thick that trunk is, and very happy. You can see the difference between rings is quite a bit. That's probably 6 inches or so, almost. Getting pollen dropped on me from butterflies hitting flowers here. And here's another pembana doing excellent. You can kind of see that nice, well-grown crown. And yeah, they just look really nice in this habitat. This is this is kind of like partial shade, and I think this is where they grow best. They will grow in full sun. All these palms look best in partial shade, in my opinion. So You can see here, now looking at lanceolata from the pembana aspect, you can see, you know, trunk thickness here, looking upward, and then trunk thickness here. You can see that it looks kind of just a little bit ratty. I hate to say that, but this is, you know, this is an older lanceolata. They're probably the same age. This here and this here, they're probably around 10 years old, I would say. I mean, this might actually be, that might be actually 10 years old, and this might be more like 7 to 8 years old, especially if it was given plenty of fertilizer along its life. Let's see. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I see like a crown shafted palm that might need a boot to come off, I like try and tug on it. That one's not really wanting to come off. One little tip there: do not try and pull off a crown shaft if it doesn't want to come off. Just let it come off naturally. They'll eventually become very weak, and they'll just kind of fall off with the gentle grip of your finger. But ripping them off can hurt the palm. The growth point, the soft tissue here can get ripped and start rotting. You don't want to introduce anything to your palm, expose it to the elements. So, little extra tip there. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, their seeds look the same. They're very comparable as far as like shapes, you know, where they're from, and obviously they're in the same genus. So, hope you enjoy this comparison between the two species. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and you want to go ahead and subscribe and see more, if you want to see more palm reviews like this, go ahead and subscribe and press that bell notification. You'll get more. You'll see when I go live, and I do go live quite a bit. I enjoy going live and talking with a lot of the subscribers and discussing palms and anything kind of palm related. If you have any questions about pembana or lanceolata, telling the difference, go ahead and leave it down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.